And then
It looks like we are
one more.
recorded now, so the issue should be fixed.
Perfect. Am I good to go?
Yeah, you're good to go now. I'm really sorry, Shlomi, if you want me to share the screen again, that's also okay.
No, I'm good. This
Awesome.
is the
Okay.
Okay.
slide
Yeah.
where you want.
Yeah. Back one slide to the end of the last slide, please. Thank you so much. So this is kind of a part two of the last slide. You're going to have all these things, and on the left side of the graph, when you have the most speed and you have very little scale, when you're just starting out, you actually do have that Gen AI capability. And you see this and you show it to the board and everyone's thrilled. However, as you scale, those ETL jobs are going to fail, they're going to break. We see it all the time. And what is Gen AI really? That's the question that I feel like not a ton of people are talking about. And it is an intelligent model, which Dataloop provides. It's that intelligent model with a massive amount of data. You have whatever data, you have your documents that you can feed it, you have all of your vectors, your embeddings, all in one place. And it's a massive amount of data to train that model, but then you also have to search it, right? And in order to do that, it has to be fast. I would not be using ChatGPT if it took me 5 minutes to get a response. It's just, it's not, slow is the new down, as they say around the space. So you really want to be able to have speed at scale, and that is where Gen AI comes into play, and that's what SingleStore and Dataloop are incredibly good at. So next slide, please. Thank you so much. So last thing from me, I promise, is just a peek under the hood of SingleStore and telling you just a little bit about the engine. So, you know, data as a whole, you're going to want to transact it, you're going to want to analyze it. And then in 2025, in the future, it's going to be about contextualizing your data. Something I always say is, business is hard to get. Data is really hard to cultivate, especially in prod. Let that data earn you more business. Be able to contextualize that and bring more money and more revenue into the company's pockets. That's what it's really all about, and that's what SingleStore can do. So in terms of transactions, this is going back to 2011 and kind of our bread and butter. Yeah, it's kind of all our bread and butter. But for transactions, that's going to be in memory. It's going to be row store table. There's a phenomenal blog written a long time ago about skip list indexing. We can share that in follow-up. But that is going to be kind of one of the secrets to how fast we can do transactions and how well we utilize memory. That will be in distributed SQL, and it's also horizontally scalable. So what that means is if you're scaling up quite a bit and you want to scale out, you don't just have to throw more hardware at it, right? You don't just have to scale vertically. You can also add nodes to your system and your deployment and make it faster that way as well. So moving on to analytics, we specialize in real-time analytics, but analytics of any nature, that's going to be utilizing our column store tables. Now, using these column store tables, there are several indexes you can place on it, but right out of the box, you're going to have access to, sub-second real-time aggregate functions, and then also, due to the columnar structure of the tables, you're going to be able to have really super fast ingestion pipelines. In 9.0, which is our next release, we'll actually have that integrated into Helios, into our online offering, so you can go into almost any source, pull it in for free, all within Helios. Not for free, but with normal credit burn rates. And lastly, it's going to be the Gen AI portion of this. It's going to be contextualizing. So vector search is huge, right? Vector and semantic search. Semantic search is attaching meaning to your search. So, hey, I want to see X, Y, and Z from something that contains X, Y, Z, alpha, beta, everything, right? Being able to do that in real time while querying an LLM is something that SingleStore is incredible at. Keyword search is important. It's arguably one of the most important things. And, we use that using the industry-leading JLucine library. There's going to be just a full text index that is going to sit in cache and be queryable, just like the industry leaders like Elasticsearch, OpenSearch, anything that provides search. We offer right next to transactions and analytics, which is stellar. Something else that is quite riveting is going to be our Python notebooks. As of 9.0, we're actually going to be able to accelerate those with GPUs. So the fastest compute possible right into SingleStore, powering your AI workloads, because as we know, speed is everything. With that, that's kind of all I have for now in terms of SingleStore's capabilities. Shalomi, take it away.
Thank you. before I jump into Dataloop and how we work with SingleStore, I want to resonate on two of the things you said. One, we see the same thing. Many of Dataloop customers come to us at the point of when they scale, and their homegrown solutions with with diversified tech stack doesn't keep up with the new scale of data, and this has been accelerated with the era of agentic AI. Second, personal experience. Dataloop shifted to working with SingleStore as its core database several years ago, and when we did that shift, we experienced something like 100x acceleration of performances. So that's a personal testimonial on working with SingleStore, and I think that partnership has only grown since then. Um, Dataloop has been around since 2017. We work with thousands of teams with their AI initiatives, from predictive AI to Gen AI, and of course agentic AI these days. Over 10,000 developers working with Dataloop. Largest brands in the world, from Ford and other car manufacturers, working with our partners, of course, SingleStore, but strong partnership with NVIDIA, Microsoft, AWS, Google, the main hyperscalers and data providers. You can find many customers in Dataloop working with our data platform across the board. And I think, again, resonating with Ryan, with what you said, it's not just about providing tools, but providing tools to the team. The team is working on building AI. It's not a single person mission. And so you have data engineers, data scientists, machine learning scientists, sometimes product managers, project managers. Sometimes you have human in the loop involved, and finding all in a single platform is a powerful offering and value proposition of Dataloop to enable collaboration and accelerating the development. So Dataloop basically facilitates the data flywheel, everything from processing data for data management, data ops, ML ops, and then moving that into production. This is why the company is called Dataloop. And that production AI solution generates in turn new data that is fed back to the beginning of the loop for continuous improvement of your models. Not the concept that we invented, but the concept that the market recognized and working by. And so we make available the entire flywheel at Dataloop. How we do that? It's a very profound deep tech platform, everything from the infrastructure layer where you can run hybrid cloud environments, bringing your own compute, your own serverless Kubernetes environments into Dataloop to run your AI workloads, and that actually your compute and cloud serves as the main execution workload for the core layer and the ecosystem layer of Dataloop, where we orchestrate AI, everything from data management, running applications, running models, and I'll demonstrate some of these or most of these today in our session. Just an overview of how Dataloop is built, from connectivity with integrations with your different data sources and cloud providers through the core to run your AI applications. There's the control plane of Dataloop, there's the data plane of Dataloop, and there's the what we call the FAS, the function as a service plane of Dataloop, where you run your AI workloads, whether on cloud or on-prem. So Dataloop is deployable in any environment. As I said, as an enterprise-grade platform, in Dataloop has structured a strategic alliance with SingleStore years ago, both for our own immediate benefit of gaining at 100x in performances, but leveraging SingleStore's unified data platform for better offering of AI solutions to our customers. And since then, we've been working hand in hand, offering AI applications on Dataloop. We accelerate real-time together with SingleStore by building AI data workflows, streaming, ingesting data at scale, pre-processing it, enabling model inferencing, data classifiers over data, and all of that is being stored in Dataloop. Dataloop was designed for scale and speed, and when you connect your AI applications or build your AI applications with Dataloop. Everything is powered with fastest AI workloads, agents, RLHF, everything is enabled in Dataloop. Although Dataloop have the underlying technology for data management, data ops, even ML ops, the tip of the pyramid in Dataloop is a very strong pipeline tool that streamlines structuring different workflows, different pipelines from ETLs to AI, predictive AI solutions, active learning pipelines, and agents and GenAI solutions. Basically, almost everything can be structured in our pipeline tool. And part of that is enabled by strong integration with SingleStore, either as a data source with either type of data or saving data back into SingleStore. With Dataloop's unique capabilities to process at scale unstructured data, together with SingleStore, we provide a solution for multimodal needs of the agentic era. And the market is coming from LLMs, evolving into visual language models, audio language models, and multimodal language models. And Dataloop can support that by enabling model review, response, preparing data for RAG applications, and of course, fine-tuning. I'll show some of these today, and this is all enterprise scale, enterprise ready, with connecting to the enterprise data storage, whether it's on-prem or on cloud, data governance, deployment options. This is all designed for the enterprise. And I think with this in mind and a couple of more slides, we'll just maybe switch over to and start seeing the actual platform. So where I'm going to is maybe giving you the context of Dataloop to understand and orienting Dataloop and how it's built to deliver the fine-tuning of LLM models using and working with SingleStore. And we'll go through a couple of models in the Dataloop platform, getting to a few pipelines that facilitates the fine-tuning. And so everything in Dataloop, including pipelines, models, applications, data, is fed from the marketplace. And this is a marketplace we enable our customers with. You can see here over 140 different models. They span over different areas, including LLMs, VLMs, predictive AI, computer vision, audio, and so on. From many different providers, they can be served from your cloud using APIs, but they can also run on compute that you can connect with Dataloop, bringing your own compute cluster into even a SaaS solution and run models on your compute. Many organizations from our customers use our marketplace as their own enterprise marketplace. There's the public flavor that we publish all this content, but of course, there's a private offering, private part of the marketplace. Enterprises use Dataloop to bring their own models, share models between different teams, share curated datasets between teams, simplifying the process of installing them into their own projects, any application. And if they build pipelines, they can templatize them again into the marketplace and share that within different teams. The pipelines, again, is the tip of the pyramid in Dataloop, and it's a quite unique tool. There's, of course, the very UI-friendly drag and drop, customize, and connect the different elements to structure your solution. And of course, there's the templates in the marketplace, but this is all developer-oriented. Everything here can be automated using SDKs, APIs to automate building and running pipelines at scale in production. Dataloop pipelines orchestrate 5 different elements. First, of course, there's the data factor, structured or unstructured. Unstructured hosted in Dataloop. Structured can come in from SingleStore, for example, and fuse together in a single pipeline. So data is one. We have models from different providers, different areas. Predictive AI, Gen AI models can all be found in our marketplace, so you can bring your own. So we have data, we have models, we have any application that you want to run here. You can bring it as a package into Dataloop, into the marketplace, have it installed and run it in the pipeline in the context that you need. We have the human in the loop. If you need data labeling, if you need model response evaluation, if you need to prep data for fine-tuning and have humans involved, Dataloop has the capabilities not just to manage these as even as large scale projects, but involve the human directly in a workflow, in a pipeline. And the fifth part is the compute itself. As I said, for every component here in the pipeline, you can say, you can define on which cluster it runs, or on which type of instance it runs, if it's a CPU or a GPU, where the machine comes from, what's the scale, what's the load. This is fully managed and orchestrated by Dataloop pipeline. This is an example of a pipeline that preps PDFs to be consumed in a RAG solution. And these PDFs, this is actually not a pipeline we generated. This is actually as part of our collaboration also with NVIDIA. This is one of their blueprints built into Dataloop. And so we have here text being extracted. This is an application. Images being extracted, and according to their blueprint, if it's an image extracted, it could be a table, and then it's being identified, cropped, the content is being extracted. If it's an image, it does OCR with a couple of models, and eventually everything is chunked. This is another application here, and stored, and then embedded, and then everything stored in SingleStore. Everything you saw so far is natively saved in SingleStore. And this is one embedding model, again, running as an API from NVIDIA, one of the NVIDIA NIMs. Again, strong collaboration between Dataloop and NVIDIA too. And we just ingest here PDFs, even in runtime, and Dataloop will orchestrate the entire pipeline, spin up machines according to scale, and ensure that they are being chunked into a data set. So that's one example. And we'll see more pipelines, especially for fine-tuning LLMs, multimodal LLMs. So you already saw one modality, PDFs, and I'm focusing here PDF. This is, I guess, as I see, majority of the use cases with LLMs, but we'll also see other types of data later on. So once we connect to your storage, once you connect Dataloop to your storage bucket again, cloud or on-prem, we'll index the data. Nothing is being moved around, nothing is being copied. We just index that, and through that provide data catalog and data management capabilities. If you want to curate your data, we provide you with a search or query language over your unstructured data, over your PDFs, over your audio files, over your images, over your LiDAR files, whatever your domain is. Dataloop enables you to search through that. You can load metadata and give context with your data. If I'm just selecting one here, I can see on the right-hand side that I have all this metadata that was extracted automatically by Dataloop in the ingestion process. But you can also load your own custom metadata, and you can actually search for that. So if I search for something in my metadata, so it's fully indexed, and I can see that there's a field named source, and I can say, okay, give me all the ones that has source equals internal, because I might have different sources as part of the metadata of my files. And here I have 5 files. Immediately I know that these files are from an internal source, and maybe I give them different governance policy, or I can take them to inference or into a pipeline. I can catalog and arrange my data in folders or in logical buckets, which we call collections, or arrange them in the machine learning subsets like the train set, validation set, train set. All of that is super easy, and just selecting it. And from my action button here on the right-hand side, models assigned to a subset, add to my train set. And immediately this is added to my train set. And I can see that my train set have 5 items, and just by clicking it, I'm filtering for these items again and again later on. Now, under the hood here, there's a query language for unstructured data, which we call DQL. And this is the underlying search engine for Dataloop dataset. And you can take these queries, save them, reuse them with your SDKs, or build more complex queries that maybe the UI doesn't support that, and inject them directly into this browser tool. So it's a very strong tool, and also allows you to visualize embeddings. Of course, the feature vectors are stored in SingleStore. Dataloop here serves as the visualization and search capability on top of that. So if I'm running an embedding model, that embedding model, of course, will come from my marketplace. I have models. I can select for all my embedding models. And here we have a selection of 15 models. All I have to do is just select one, install it, and I can trigger that over my dataset. And once I run that, I can do semantic search, or I can visualize the embedding space. And through this visualization, I can do similarity search. I think this is a different, as I told you, we'll see different modalities. This is images, I think. So if I zoom in on this cluster here, I can see the data. I can select to remove it. If it's an anomaly, it's a cluster too distant than my main cluster of data, or I can send it to inference by a model or run it with a pipeline, anything I want. One more very important feature here is being able to use my embedding space, my data cluster, to sample data that I want to take into my pipelines or into my model fine-tuning. So if I would have, this is just a small demo data set with just about 2,000 samples, but if I would have 200,000 samples and I want just 100 of them, we use a k-means algorithm to select data from across my embedding space, and this would be the data that I will take onward in my tool. We discussed also data ops, not just data management, and so we have different tools here for working with your data. If you have PDF, there are PDF viewers, of course, embedded into Dataloop, but once you run them through the RAG pipeline I showed, for example, earlier, you get text chunks and you want to visualize them or maybe tokenize them. You can use this tool to tokenize your text according to however you want it. And you can, of course, control the labels and tokenize your text. Other tools included in Dataloop are for example, providing responses. This is an example of human response. Of course, we can also run it with model response over a video generated by a VLM or one of my multimodal models. So this model generated this video. As a human responder, I can see this video and provide feedback over it. Is it accurate enough or not? Provide the reasons, and of course, this is fully flexible and customizable. So again, let's zoom out again. I had data, I ingested it into a pipeline, I prepared chunks, or maybe I fine-tune a model. Now I'm building a data set for evaluating the model. I can run this at scale with my model. We orchestrate the pipeline, we orchestrate the compute that does all that. And at the end, you can also provide feedback, manual feedback or automated feedback using models, using people, your team, to build your feedback and then use that feedback to loop again and further fine-tune your model or grade it and rank it, take a decision if you want to further fine-tune it, branch it out, and so on. So this is one more example. In Dataloop, we have many different tools for human labeling, including audio transcriptions, image segmentation, object detection, classification, all these tools that are generally scattered with different tools. You can find them all in one, including analytics dashboard about such project progress, cost, quality. All of that is facilitated in just one platform within Dataloop. You built your pipeline, you built your model, maybe you already fine-tuned. How do you test that? So you can test that, of course, at scale. You can prepare a data set of prompts and run that through the model, and then get ranking of the model, grades, visualize the metrics, the training metrics. But you can also, or in addition, just interact with that directly. And again, simplifying deployment, simplifying DevOps aspects, getting machines, deployment permissions. This is all included within Dataloop. So if I have a model or I have a pipeline, I can just select it from my list, select it, and start interacting with it. I already prepared something. I uploaded this image, asked the question, and the VLM, in this case, gave me a short answer, and I can continue on chatting with my model, freestyle or with prepared scenarios, test scenarios, evaluation scenarios, and then I can evaluate personally my model or my pipeline. And of course, I can take that to broader evaluation using data sets of prompts and then have it in a evaluation pipeline. All these models I mentioned in Dataloop, everything from embedding models to LLMs, VLMs, predictive AI, they are all managed here in the model management or the MLOps area. One quick example of, other than just versioning, training them, evaluating them, or even deploying and serving, is then again all in one place, next to my data, next to my team, making everything simpler and faster. In this example, I just selected 3 versions of the same model, which I fine-tune in advance, and I choose to compare to visualize the fine-tuning results. Here I have the hyperparameters, and I choose to go into exploration, and I see the model accuracy and loss here. And I also did an evaluation process, and I can see the precision recall values, and I can see that the latest model is actually the best one. And as I continue on adding data, it will probably get better and better. So this is how, not just with pipelines or more user-friendly tools, but of course, ML engineers, ML machine learning scientists can use Dataloop to deploy models, train models, monitor the results, also work with notebooks, SDK to build and deploy their AI applications. And now we're coming after visualizing and reviewing what Dataloop is, everything from data management, data ops, the ML ops, and the pipelines that kind of orchestrate everything. Let's look at some of the use cases for working with SingleStore to fine-tuning LLMs. So this is another example of prepping data for RAG. Again, we have a data set where our data sits, and this time it's not PDF, it's emails. And again, running any application, remember that? So we can extract emails, extract the text from emails, process the attachments, and then based on the media type of the attachment, route it to the right application. If it's maybe Office files, let's say, for example, PowerPoints, we'll extract from using the PowerPoint extractor, document files, PDFs, audio files will be transcribed, and then summarized chunks. We can also apply chunks cleaning methodology. And you can see this is using LangChain, Unstructured IO, Llama Index. These are all applications within Dataloop. You can bring those functions in, and of course, bring your own application, bring your own model as well. And so after we embed those chunks, the data is immediately exported to SingleStore and stored there. So if you have your application and you want to use all those chunks and their embeddings in a RAG application, you can export all that to SingleStore in a single pipeline, stream the data, use Dataloop to process that unstructured data at scale through different functions, different applications, different models, do the embedding, and then store everything in SingleStore, and then connect to whatever AI application in whatever framework you developing it directly to SingleStore for your RAG application. This is one example. And as you can imagine, if you want to switch this embedding model to a different one, it's as simple as removing it, searching for a different one, this is like a more generic one, and connecting it. Let's say I want to install a different one. I'll open the marketplace directly from here, and I'll filter for all the embeddings, and I'll use maybe something you want, anything specific you want, guys. Let's see the embed multilingual from AWS. Of course, you need an AWS key for that. We'll skip the key now. And we should have the embed multilingual here. And there's a reason why I'm not removing that. Here I'm connecting and using a new embedding model, and I can try this one. So how does the embedding affect my RAG application? Maybe different embedding models gives me different vectors, of course, different performances for my RAG better similarity search, and so on. So how about running both at the same time and getting two feature sets into SingleStore and maybe use some kind of maybe a different pipeline in Dataloop, maybe run my AI application wherever I run that, using two feature sets and evaluating my performances using two models, or three, or five. As you can see, it's super easy to add these and do your experimentation as you build your pipeline. I'll just remove that redundant one, and we can continue on. You can see it's very easy, very friendly for developers at all levels, skill levels. But again, I'm reminding you, we're not going into notebooks today in this session, but this is all available from SDKs and APIs. So you can automate structuring these or templatizing these and then deploying them to run multiple pipelines, let's say for different data sources or different AI applications. If you want to differentiate them, you can do that again programmatically and not through the user interface. But this is one example of how we prepare data to be consumed with an AI application. This is another one. Here we bring in data from SingleStore, run that through two models sequentially in this case, and then find the best response from these two models. And again, I remind you, adding a third one is super easy. Adding a fourth one is fourth or fifth is just as easy. And if you want to validate your AI application, maybe with the latest model that was just released yesterday, maybe Llama 5 will be released next week, and you want to compare your AI application, how does the new model affect its performances, accuracy, relevance, or any score you run with your AI application, you can do that very easily. So you can have, for example, a table with prompts in SingleStore, import those directly into a pipeline, consumed and processed or inferenced by 2, 3, 4 models, and then run your code here. This is a code node where you can apply your own logic on deciding the best for whatever score you're looking for, and then save the results back to SingleStore, let's say for each prompt, the exact response by the model and the score, or who won in this experiment. And so you can run multiple experiments, maintaining your data, keeping your data, your prompts, your entire data used for your AI application in SingleStore, but using Dataloop's ability to structure pipelines, bringing in models, data sets, applications from the marketplace to structure these and run them at scale. This is where we can actually fine-tune. We can also, remember I told you we can run active learning pipelines or data flywheels in Dataloop. That means we need to create data models on the fly, feed them with data to train them, and then be able to evaluate and even deploy them. These are more complex and advanced, or more advanced pipelines in Dataloop. We won't go into that today, but here we have a pipeline that has two branches. One is taking data and then prepping it through two different models, and the other that actually create a new model on the fly in production while the model is running, while the pipeline is running, train it, and then deploys it by updating a system variable. So that deploys the model into some production pipeline. So this is all done in real time in production to train or fine-tune an LLM. So we saw how we can bring in data, prep it for fine-tuning, how we can fine-tuning it in Dataloop. Data comes from SingleStore. Data can go back into SingleStore. Fine-tuning takes place in Dataloop. Compute, where this all runs, can come from wherever you want it. You can bring your own compute if you have your AWS EC2, or even if you want to connect your own GPU that you have in your desktop. Bring that into Dataloop, connect it, and you can leverage that with any pipeline. And maybe one more example. Here we have data coming in from SingleStore. We have 3 different models running inference over the data. We are waiting for them all to finish, and then we go through some ranking to decide which model gives me the best results. Ranking, again, relates to the score you're looking for, relevance, safety, coherence with your data, and whatever you want. And this is actually an example I've been using since DeepSeek went out. It created a big buzz, and people wanted to see if it's actually better. You need to formalize the evaluation process. You need to have the data in SingleStore, all your prompts, generate the response, store the response maybe back to SingleStore, and you just add DeepSeek from the Dataloop marketplace very easily, drag and drop, connect it, run the pipeline, and you get the responses back into SingleStore, and you can see which one is the best one, and then you can run your analytics, your BI on the results. So this is like rather quick overview of Dataloop, everything from data, data management, strong data management for any modality of data ops for labeling, for providing feedback over model responses, everything with data ops, human in the loop, models, embedding models, and so on. The marketplace, which we discussed, MLOps to manage your model versions, experiments, training and evaluation, and deploying to serve models, and pipelines to orchestrate everything, data coming in from SingleStore to you, whatever pipeline you want to run for prepping data for your RAG application, for fine-tuning LLMs with your multimodal data, and then storing them back into SingleStore, ready to be consumed with your AI application. That's kind of an overview. And Ryan, any thoughts on that?
I mean, it's quite a bit to digest. It's quite the intelligent product, and thank you for presenting that. I don't have any questions at present, but I know a lot of people have been posting in the Q&A channel.
So folks, we are officially open for the Q&A. So we have a lot of positive comments for you, Shlomi, and saying we have a comment from our OC. They say that this is great for POC. Yet how does this scale in data loop in prod? So if you can reiterate on that.
Yeah, many of our customers actually love it in POC, building their applications, prepping the data for that, and they want to continue on using Dataloop as they go into production. And this is where our abilities to uh, manage the services with the compute they bring into Dataloop and scale machines according to service requirements. This is our orchestration capabilities of the pipeline enables production ready or production grade applications as well. We have customers connecting thousands of edge devices into Dataloop, streaming data live into datasets. And of course, again, I remind you, all of that is being indexed into SingleStore as the database that enables us with that scale of data, and running that data that they uploaded through their custom pipelines that they built in Dataloop. So from POC into production, this is streamlined process.
Awesome. So we actually, I can, club in 4 or 5 questions into one question. So we have a comment that says that Dataloop seems like Hugging Face and Notion like combined. And there's like one more question from Mondeep. They say that what if we use workflow tools like Notion and do you provide a community for Node for Dataloop to use within a Notion workflow? So yeah, and like people are also asking about your one second. Yeah, like if we can use models from Hugging Face, like the category of the question is similar. So if you can reiterate on these,
Yeah.
I can start with
So
yeah, please go ahead.
yeah, I'll refer to all of them, but I'll take that as a compliment if our UI looks as nice as Notion and the marketplace looks like Hugging Face. But
Exactly.
Hugging Face is a huge catalog of models. If you go anything beyond the main foundation models and models being published there by main providers, you get a lot of models that simply don't work out of the box. And you have no way of knowing that unless you dig into the Q&A session process there or a feedback, and you kind of guessing. In Dataloop's marketplace is different. Dataloop marketplace, primarily public marketplace is being populated by models we bring in. So you know that these models, they are 100% functional. They work out of the box. Of course, it's easy when it's Llama by Meta, but there are many different models there. And you know that they are also all coming. We have an adapter to make the data scheme or the data model to be unified. And so you know that you can send objects from one VLM into another VLM because we made that adaptation layer to make them all talk with each other. And so if you want to bring another model from Hugging Face, that's usually an easy process. All the code, again, next level of details, but all these different components, their source code is on Git, public Git, fully open. You can go and see. It's usually also clickable from here. You can see the GitHub code. So I can open Git and see the code behind this node here that facilitates the MetaLlama 3.38b in this case. And then you can fork that code, bring your own custom code or custom node. Of course, there are notebooks for that as well, so this is super streamlined. Regarding Notion, I'm less familiar with Notion as a tool for running workflows, and more it's like a design thing. But yes, the concept is similar, building, structuring workflows, only these are being orchestrated by Dataloop.
Awesome. Thanks for answering that. So, there's actually a lot of people that are asking for follow-up meetings. So Ryan and Neeta, like I feel like this might fall into your domain. So keep an eye out. And like yeah, just I've also shared in Slack, so that might be there. So I also have a question. So Shlomi, this might be for you. Can you elaborate how modular pipelines in data loop can help machine learning teams to go from ingestion to production like faster? Like how can we improve the process?
Right. It goes to several key aspects, and we've been working with teams since day one of Dataloop. I think, and I mentioned that even at the beginning of my of the webinar, right? Working with teams. Eventually, it's a team building the AI application. Maybe some people have different functions across different teams, but it's coming down to a team being able to collaborate, work together, experiment together in a single platform. Also, if we look at the enterprise or the company, also there's a need to use the same tool across different teams, being able to preserve knowledge in a central place about how the AI application was built and being able to maintain it. These are values generated by the data platform, where you have your data engineer that can ingest data into Dataloop. You have your data scientist working over data, prepping data for RAG. You can have your ML engineers bringing maybe their own model architectures or their own models from Hugging Face, working through the MLOps area to experiment with them, train them, fine tune, look at the different metrics, whether directly with the platform or using notebooks or using a Python tool of their choice. And this team collaborates in a single area where everything is visible and open for them.
Awesome. So we have one more question from Khalid Yunus. They say that can you use models from Hugging Face or Data Loop only to work
Yeah,
with?
of course, General.
So
You,
only to work with models stored in Data Loop Marketplace, or like is there any other way?
so no, when you see a model from Hugging Face, the model is actually in Hugging Face. When you install it, we'll download it from Hugging Face into your project and deploy it.
All
So
right.
if there's a newer version in Hugging Face, you'll get the latest version.
So basically, this is directly taken from Hugging Face and
From
then
Hugging Face, yes.
awesome. Okay.
Yes.
All right. So one more question. So this seems very interesting. Can data loop manage concurrent VLM plus LLM chains? For example, 3D images, like you have radiology images, pathology report fusion as a part of the same pipeline. So this is exactly what multi-modal data might be, right? So
Exactly. Right. Yeah. So if I'll structure here something and I need a VLM, so it's not doesn't go by that name, but let's say Llama, Meta Llama, I have my data. This might contain my radiology. Maybe I have radiology reports somewhere in my SingleStore. So I'll import my report as well. Is it a PDF or chunks? Maybe it's a different pipeline that prepped that. How do I fuse my radiology image with my radiology data? So maybe I'll add some custom code, and here I'll fuse the cases together, my unstructured data with my structured data. And now I want to run this. Any preferred model? I have here Llama 3.2 90 billion parameters V. So this is a VLM. And then anything else you want? Let's see if I have Llama 4 here. So running that concurrently with multiple VLMs, LLMs, and then I have to decide what I want to do with the response, right? Depending on the system prompt, of course, I have to configure the system prompt for this VLM, and I have two responses, and maybe now we'll add a model to be a judge. Which one is best? And then why not take two models? And I'm just dragging and dropping here models, right? Let's take two models and then see if they have agreement between them on who's the best model. And anything they don't agree upon, consensus failed, I'll route that to a human in the loop, and that human in the loop will open the radiology report and the information we took from SingleStore, and the image and the report and the model responses, and maybe we'll rank it. It goes back to this. I think, no, this is an interface. So this similar interface will show you the image, the report, the responses from the two VLMs, and ask the human labeler to say which one is best, or why was it better, or write your own response. Maybe it's a radiologist that can write his own feedback or report. So these type of pipelines, you can see how fast I structure them. All I have to do is just ingest my data and configure maybe an API keys to NVIDIA or to wherever the model is running, bring my own compute. That's usually done once when setting up Dataloop. And basically that's it. Super easy, super
That
fast.
was so cool. Like this UI is very interesting because if you start to do this similar kind of a project, you need like five screens to be really frank with you. So this is very interesting. Also, is it safe to say that this is similar to GitHub's Copilot? Like you mentioned the model agreement, right? So like Copilot also suggests that hey, this is not good. You can fine tune it like that, and it gives you suggestions. So is it safe to say that, or like it's a bit different?
Eh, Again, as a platform, GitHub Copilot is another model, a very strong one, a powerful one, but another model that we can put into the pipeline in the context that we want with the system prompt that we need. And then based on whatever results we're getting, we can blindly rely on that because it's GitHub Copilot or not, and maybe compare that with OpenAI ChatGPT or whatever, right? So it's another model.
All right, so we have one more question, and like I know we are over time, but this is the last question. So, given Dataloop's strong integration with SingleStore, which you had showcased in the demo, we'd love to trial access to test the joint pipelines ourselves. So, SingleStore typically shares full features, access, and notebooks during evaluations. So, having similar hands-on access to Dataloop would actually really help us validate the multi-modal ingestion embedding. So. It can help us to work across both the platforms. So, like, how does that sound to you?
Of course, we'll share with that. I think we are going to share that in an email to everybody after the webinar with information how to connect with Dataloop and try these yourself.
Awesome. So, like,
But yeah, one more thing. So I think like for the data loop platform, you can even book a demo for now as well. If you don't want to wait till the email to get to you, you can book a demo on data loops platform, and data loops team will reach out to you.
Right.
So I'm also putting a link to the data loop demo in the chat. Just give me a second. And we will make
I
sure
just did that.
actually
So you already have the link.
that is not to
And
everybody.
if anyone wants more details, they can contact us through
You
that.
actually sent it to the panelists, so I've just put it to everyone once more.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So yeah, I think this is good. And if there's any other follow-up questions, we are all available on LinkedIn. You can, if you can't find our emails, feel free to connect with us on LinkedIn. If you have any feedback regarding today's session, if you have any questions, you want to like few people said that they want like follow-up meetings. So I'm very sure Ryan and Nita's team will be definitely reaching out to you guys. So yeah, in the follow-up email, you'll get the recording and I will share the LinkedIn as requested in the chat with everyone. Thanks, Chetan, for pointing that out. And yeah, this is it for today's session. Thank you all for joining and giving us your valuable time. And we hope to bring more of these sessions in the future. So I hope you enjoyed today's session. Thanks again to all the speakers, Ryan, Shlomi, Chetan, and Neeta. Thanks for joining, everyone. And I hope
Thank
you
you, everyone. Bye.
all right. I hope you all have a great day. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.